We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the 510 Huddle. We got our boy, I lost my voice, came back from Cabo, but we got Kendrick Trotter from USINTECH, former Crusader, former Idaho Bengal, correct?
Vandal, brother.
Vandal.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah.
I had to get it right. And we got D-Lane. How you doing today, D-Lane?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, we definitely want to start with Trot right now, but something big just happened for you, man. How was your trip? How was that Cabo trip, man? Your bachelor trip.
The bachelor trip, it was legendary.
Okay.
I
seen you in the Gaza suit and the booty, man.
Hey.
You, Mayo, Till. I seen
the
you
whole
on
trip,
fly.
just tequila and tacos.
Okay.
You know how that goes.
All right.
You know, and then the rest we're gonna talk about off air, my guy. There we go.
That he was beating your ass. Too.
No. It's just the same temperature. Like I don't know why. I should just brought all white beaters. Just
Is it
all
humid out there or no?
everything. I don't know. It's humid, hot.
It's hot.
I don't know. I mean, Trot was just out using Hawaii. How was that?
It was different, bro. It was my first time going to Hawaii, and I kind of got two experiences. So I was with like one of my business partners, and they stay on an island which is called I think it's called Kona. And so we're his family owns a property in a community that is like connected with like the Four Seasons. So it was like super exclusive. You know, 2 golf courses, both on the PGA Tour.
Yes, sir.
You know, 4 or 5-star restaurants, personal beach. It was really cool. And then I personally wanted to get a little bit of the experience of being with some more of the locals too. So I got to go to Honolulu, right? And I got to get that little tourist vibe, and I was kind of blown away by the vibe out there in Waikiki. And then one of my boys I used to play football with in Idaho, he's from Hawaii, so he took me around the locals. But it was love, man. It was a beautiful sight.
That's amazing, man. And I want to kick this off. And Kendrick, can you tell us a little bit about what you do, and you know everything you're doing right now, and then tell us where you got started, and we'll let you up to doing that.
Yeah, 100%. So for me personally, I am the very proud CEO and founder of a company called USINTECH. And USINTECH is focused on diversifying the tech industry with more underrepresented people. So that could be people of underrepresented ethnicities, of course, Black and brown people, members of the LGBTQ community, military veterans, first-generation college graduates. And the reason why I ultimately started USINTECH is because, you know, the tech industry is top 5 highest paid industries in the world. Right now, only 1.3% African-American, 3.3% Latinx. And in my opinion, if we really want to create more equity in the world for our people, we got to get more people who look like us, more people who come from these diverse backgrounds in these positions of power, right? So for a lot of us, I know we'll talk about it today, how we grew up in the areas and neighborhoods we came up from. A lot of us were kind of told our entire life the only way to a better life, our certain experiences is by playing ball, being in entertainment, or being in the streets. And so when we don't accomplish that, we feel like we're failures. So my goal is to just show more people that come from the areas like us that, you know, the tech industry is an option as well.
Man, and that's amazing. And just to piggyback off Kendrick and what he's doing, a lot of you guys have heard me talk about how I'm in the tech industry, and I've talked about USINTECH on here before. Kendrick is the reason I'm in tech. And got my career started. I was the second person part of this amazing program he has. And so again, this is the real deal. So I'm really appreciative.
I guess since we sharing Kendrick's story,
Yeah,
Kendrick,
go.
you know, let me shout out my guy, you know, Kendrick and USINTECH, you know, a good friend. He also hooked up me and my program with Alameda County Office of Education where I work, and got me and some of my students that I work with some laptops, man. You know, and I work in the hood, man. I work down there right in the middle of Funktown, right there where all the stuff is at. You know, we got prostitutes, the whole nine, right there outside the building. It's crazy over there, but and for the most part, I work with the brown and Black communities. and the served, underprivileged community for the most part. So those kids needed that, man. And I done already told Try. I feel like I still can't thank them a million times because every time I see them smiles on those kids' face from when they get that laptop, man, it reignites that feeling all over again for me. So thank you again, man. Now we on air. I want to give you your flowers and roses.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, my guy.
100%, bro. Like for me, it's just like we all need each other, and the more we help each other, the further we gonna go. So like, I'm very privileged to be able to help. I'm happy that you reached out to me, and that we were able to help. And it's something that is a personal goal of mine to do more on a continued basis. So what a lot of people don't know is I'm actually a licensed foster parent. So my mom has been a foster parent to over probably like 40 kids since I was, 7 or 8 years old. So I've always shared my home with foster kids, and my mom's like passion for foster care is second to none. So I'm really passionate about that. For a lot of people, when they hear foster care, they're like, oh, that's so cute, but they don't understand the reality of what these kids really go through and the reality of what the system is. So being able to partner and help, like I'm all for that. People have helped me out, and for any activity, if there's a way for myself, USINTECH to assist, like please let me know, because that's what it's all about. So
we're gonna get into a football career in a sec, Charlie. Let's stay here in tech just for a minute. I definitely think you got some valuable information our people need to hear. First and foremost, I would like to ask you, because I feel like you're kind of already doing this already, but how do you think we get this information? Like how do we get more minorities into tech?
Yeah, so that's a good question, Brody. I'm gonna flip it on you, right? So what got you interested in football, like as a kid, when you really think about it?
Man, it was, really my grandpa playing, actually. He was an All-American type thing. So it kind of was running in the family type deal, one of those things. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so like for us, it's at a very young age. Like one, we see people we recognize in these positions that like we aspire to be in, right? And two is like understanding how to market to our target audience. So for me, I think the thing we need to do is educate more people, right? Like kids, all right? Young kids, middle school kids, high school kids, adults on the opportunities in tech, right? So a lot of people, when they hear tech, just like me, they assume engineering, they assume coding, right? And a lot of people like myself, we might not have those hard skills. So we're like, the tech industry isn't for us. But in tech, there's also like customer success jobs. There's also sales jobs. There's program managing jobs. There's a lot of different positions. So the way that I try to market to our people is I got to meet them where they are, right? I know what they're attracted to. So a lot of times I share, not to be boastful, but to be encouraging, the type of money that people make in tech companies, right? Like being in the tech industry and making six figures, that's $100,000 by your second year, is not abnormal at all. It's more actually realistic than it is unrealistic to be in certain areas of the tech industry and not make that much money. The average person who's in the tech industry for 3 to 5 years is making more money than the average rookie contract in the NFL, right? So like for me, when I first started making money, I had never made money, right? I didn't come up from money at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that too. But the first thing I went and copped a Benz, right? Like I had a Benz, I got gold teeth, right? I'm traveling the world, I'm getting bottle service, all these experiences that I dreamed of as a kid and that I seen on TV. And now I was told that it's okay for me to do that, right? Like I didn't have to sell drugs to do it. I didn't have to play ball. And so that was my best way to motivate other people from the areas we're from, because when I pulled up in the Benz, people were like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm in the tech industry. And people like, what? And people like, oh, like, where'd you get your gold teeth from? What do you do for work? Right? It kind of put me in a position to let people know that like, there's different ways to get that. So I would say education, just letting people know that there's other opportunities out there in the tech industry. And what we try to do at USINTECH is we try to have like monthly sessions where we bring guest speakers in, like Isaiah, or we do clubhouse sessions that's strictly on education, just like Q&A, like what does this space mean? What are the requirements people look for? And, just answer questions.
I don't know if you had something to say, but I actually got a question for both of y'all. But before I ask the question, we need y'all in schools, man. We need y'all to pull up and spit this type of game in the schools. Because I was just about to ask, the question I want to ask both you guys is, do you think it's not as many of us in this space because, one, lack of resources, or two, is it because the information is not on our face? It's not sealed. You feel me? It's not right in front of us. We don't believe it's achievable. Like you said, the representation of it. You pulling up in the bins, we like, well, how you get that? But most of the time when we grow up, the way we grew up, we assume, oh, he a dope dealer. He on the, you feel me? He on the block. He making money, flipping packs, doing whatever he got to do. That's
so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer that real quick, and try. You comment next. A CEO told me, he said, what the black community is, or minorities in the Bay Area around this tech is, they see the freeway, but they don't know how to get to the ramp. And I think when he used that quote, it shows no one knows that step, right? And I think that's the problem, where to start, and I think also confidence. But how do I get onto that freeway? I see it, but go ahead, try.
We probably need you on the school.
Yeah, so I always say an analogy too, like, you don't start telling LeBron James when he's 18 years old he could go to the NBA. Like, you probably were telling him when he was 2, when he was 3, when he was 4, right? And so for us, to your point, we do have to do more educating of people at a younger age, right? Because the reality is people grow up in the areas that we're from, and they think it's more realistic for them to become a football player or a successful rapper than it is for them to become a lawyer. That's a big problem right there, right? The percentage and the statistics of the chances of you becoming a successful lawyer are way higher, right, than the chances of you becoming an athlete or an entertainer. One of my buddies, he's from Oakland, played at Oakland Tech, played at Arizona State. He's a lawyer. He just got a $70,000 signing bonus to his new firm, right? So the problem is we don't see people that we relate to in these positions. So the idea of accomplishing this seems a lot more distant. So if we can get in front of more people at a younger age, start educating, get more people in the communities like Isaiah, like myself, to let people know, like, what's the point of hitting a lick when you can just go get your AA and make this same money in like 2 weeks? You know what I'm saying? That the risk versus the reward, and kind of changing the narrative of what we've been trained to think is, okay.
And what's crazy what he's saying is, I've thought about, let me go talk in schools, but I've got to, Kendrick said it, success so fast in tech. It'll be 2 years in September for me. Yeah. And and people seeing the success, they think it's happened this fast because of tech. So I'm just now learning, like, the whole industry, this is how you sell. And there's not too many positions unless you get 2 degrees where you get this high of a salary and opportunity to make money in your first year. The first year you're making money, like you said, a Benz, some sections. Yeah. That's entry level, right? So there are mid-level bosses, that's kids play. They're talking, I'm about to buy this acre. I'm going to go buy my kid this car, right? And so now I'm going into the next phase of, the tech career. So it's so much opportunity. Like we've seen a lot of people we grew up with, Andres in tech, right? We're seeing their lives slowly change in the first year. It's not too many. I mean, entertainment and sales. I mean, how fast that you can change your life that fast, right?
100%. One of the questions that I have for you, Zay, is everybody always asks me, like, what'd you major in, right? And people like to assume, like, Kendrick must have been this 4.0 student that went to private school, and, like, he must have been the golden token. But, like, most of the things that have helped me be successful, I think, are very similar to you, are, like, things that I learned growing up naturally, like in the hood and playing sports. So, like, what are some of the things that, like, you say you have, like, as attributes or skills, or that make you special, that you learned from the way that you grew up, that, like, converts over to you being, like, good in business and corporate America?
I
I
think
got one for you before you say it. Your competitiveness. I love it, bro. I love it. No, I love it because I see it transfer from the game
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
tech industry. I see
Yeah.
it.
Talk about
I
that.
just wanted to say
Talk
that.
about that competitiveness and like
Yeah.
how you use it, how you grew up competitive, like in the street personally,
Yeah.
right? And how that helped you, and then how it helps you now as a man in corporate America.
Yeah, no, I think my competitiveness because I grew up, like where I grew up, you know, I'm light skinned, right? So everyone, I feel like always underestimated me. So I always, you already know, right? So I always just had like.
Oh, I forgot it's two of y'all on this one. My bad.
Yeah, you
I
know,
was
we got it
wondering.
hard, man.
You
You got it
usually-
hard. It ain't easy, man.
Hey, you know, usually you get a couple laughs there, but I got a couple rounds. So all right,
You know, so
bad.
everything was always extra competition. You know, it was like, you know, the schoolyard fights, whether it be, you know, in sports. And so I always feel like I need to hold my own, and that turned to I'm kind of like a junkie for it, right? Like I thrive on it. And so, you know, football and where I grew up, I think helped bring that competitiveness. And if you have that in this work, this field, you're going to be successful. But the second piece I feel like is you always have to be paying attention on your P's and Q's, where you're from. And I feel like I saw a study, and I think it's true. People that grow up in lower income areas have a higher social IQ. Well, in sales, what I'm doing now, you have to have a social IQ. You have to understand the room, read the room, understand people's faces, right? I'm on Zoom all day. If I can't understand their face, how they're feeling, how am I going to sell to them? How am I going to talk to them? And those are two skills I learned just from growing up, right? And the rest just came from, you know, just school.
Do you guys think, is this another aspect from being in sports culture and growing up in that environment that helps you guys be successful in this tech industry is and being able to operate with different faces, like you just said, and different people? The locker room. The fact that we always had so many different, you know, backgrounds, cultures, the way people, morals, everything it was so different in the locker room, but we all knew we had one common goal. We had to come together. It's 11 guys on each side of the ball trying to operate as one unit to get a goal accomplished.
That's a great point because, Kendrick, you went to 3 schools to play football. That's 3 different locker rooms. I went to 3 schools to play football, 3 different locker rooms, and we met so many people. So I didn't think that might have helped a lot. So
that's 100%. I think that for me, like I went from raised by a single mom. We went from Richmond to Vallejo. From Vallejo, I lived in like technically American Canyon for a little bit, which is like a lot more preppy than what I had experienced. And then from American Canyon, I went to Oakland, middle school, like thrown out there, knew nobody, just to the neck. In 7th grade. And then that's how I met Jamal. Jamal was always a cool dude for the record. I liked him more when he wasn't buff, you know what I'm saying? But Jamal was always cool. And then from there, I moved to Stockton, right? And then from Stockton, I finally moved to like a community in 10th grade, which is called Patterson. And I think that was like the best thing for me is because I learned how to deal with some real gangsters, you know what I'm saying? And I learned how to work with some real squares. And what I learned in each environment was like, you just the easiest way to get respect is by being yourself, right? And like when I go home, I'm still around both, right? Like I be around a lot of gangsters and like I be around a lot of squares, you know, respectfully. And the best way for me to get respect is I'm always myself. I'm always like who I am. And what sports taught me, the locker room thing is like to perform in a situation where you don't agree with everybody who's on your team. Like me and D-Lane, like he could be a Republican. I could be a Democrat. He plays left corner. I play right corner. It don't matter. We got an objective, right? I could have 12 coaches on my staff. I might only really like 2 of them personally. But who cares? Can I still get coaching from him? Can I still perform under him, right? Like Isaiah knows this. So a lot of the people in my community, they're always texting me like, oh my God, like our company just fired 4 people. I'm like, fantastic. I love when people get fired. You know what I mean? Because success is a process of subtraction. You got to get rid of people, right? And so when you create a culture that's for everybody, that ain't going to be a productive team. Man, Laney, I know y'all cut people, right? So being an athlete, when someone gets cut and you getting excited, or you respectfully, you know, not getting frustrated or, you know, getting scared, when your boss comes in and yells at you and you being able to say not F him, forget him, man, he's a sucker, and being like, you know what, I got to get back into the lab. You know what I'm saying? Like it's 9 o'clock my time. I got a full-time job. like Isaiah, like D-Lane, like y'all got full-time jobs and y'all jumping on late night to do this session. That's that hustler's mentality. You know what I mean? Like you talked about coming from like low income areas. Like I had to have common sense because my mom wasn't there. She was working. So if I was hungry, shit, I had to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things, and Coach Beam helps us a lot too at USINTECH as an advisor. And he says that a lot of the guys that we know, they already know the game, the idea of selling, the idea of educating, the idea of flipping, right? Yeah. Investing money to make more money. It's all the same game, right? It's just less risk and it's different risk. And so if we can channel that same energy and that same time into things that are legal, like our money actually goes a lot longer because we get equity, we get stock, we get healthcare benefits, right? 401k. And like, those are the things that kind of make it different. But for me growing up, and when people ask me, like, I'm raising right now to try to get money for USINTECH, they're like, what makes you unique as a founder? And I'm like, success is my only option. Like my whole life, success has been my only option. Because if I didn't go out there and get it, nobody was going to bring it to me, right? And every day I wake up respectfully with that chip on my shoulder, like I got to go get it. Because that's what my mom did. Single mom, 3 kids of her own, did foster care, had my nephew. Like there was no waiting around. Like you had to go get that shit. So like, I think Zay, like you said it best, and D-Lane, you made up a good point. Just if you can be a locker room guy, you can do anything. And one time in a job interview, they're like, Kendrick, I see you were a captain on your football team. Why were you a captain? I was like, damn, that's a tough question. And when I thought about it, I was like, the reason why I was a captain is because I was able to create relationships with the walk-ons, just like I was able to create relationships with the people who went to the league, right? Like we talk about like Elijah Penny, Caden Ellis, the guys I got to play with that went to the league, we're like this. If we got to talk to like some of the walk-ons that were on the team, we're still like this. Because I've been that guy on the team that barely made the team just because I hustled. And I've been that dude on the team that had multiple scholarship offers. But like where we're from, the one thing that we're taught is like, you either be humbled or you gonna get humbled. So like, those are all the things that I feel like in business is like what makes me, like has helped me to be successful is just seeing a whole game, you know what I mean? Being true to myself, respecting people. Right? Like I have people who are 60 years old that work for me. I got people who went to Harvard, and they work for me and they respect me because I respect them. I don't try to control them. So that's kind of like my take on all of that.
That's crazy, man. Cause if y'all really think about it, at least in my experience from the guys I can remember my locker rooms, I'm pretty sure y'all probably agree. The guys that struggled in the locker room, always got into it with other guys and stuff like that in the locker room. Those are the guys that's, kind of fell on hard times. Like they didn't really be too successful. And those are the guys I know that's kind of like out in the streets. You feel me? They stay on the right path because they just didn't know how to handle relationships, communicate, be responsible, understanding accountability. This guy depends on me. I need to do my job. But you constantly bickering, fighting with your teammates or anything. Just those bad locker room guys that I can think of now that I just went in my head when Trout was just saying being a locker room guy. I can see it now. Like those are the guys that wasn't really too successful moving on.
And think about it. When the opportunity comes, like, hey, do you know anybody that can do this? You don't think of them, right? So they're losing the opportunity, right?
Yeah,
and then they're the ones talking like, man, I never had my shot. I never wait, because no one thinks of you when the opportunity comes. So, like,
and even when I wasn't talented, I was always a person that was coachable. Yeah. You feel me? Like, even when I made the Crusaders, my whole story was like, man,
Crusader on the pod.
Coach was trying to get me to quit, right? Like, I played football in Napa, but I played my baseball in Vallejo, 2 different people. Yeah. So when I went to play football at the Crusaders, they was all like, you play with the white kids, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever.
You play with Napa.
Every day of hitting drills, I had to go head up with Tillman, right?
Well,
every day.
Say that one more time so you hear that.
Hey, every day in hitting drills, I had to go up against Tillman. Every single day, right? Tillman and Cornish. Coach would pull him to the front of the line, and, like, we went at it, right? Like, I was small. Nobody knew me, but, like, I just wasn't no sucker. right? And like eventually, like I got respect from Tillman, like to this day, right? Like the rest of the people, because like, you know, you just step up. And so like when I think about Isaiah and like when he made the transformation to tech, this is different. It's corporate. Most of these people do not look like us. They don't come from where we come from. So he had to learn so many different things. He had to change so many different habits. But even when he didn't get it, he was the same type of person he was as an athlete when he didn't get it. He didn't blame the coach. He went to watch extra film, right? Like he went to do extra bleachers, extra lifting. So when I think about the people who I'm around and the people who are successful, it's not always the people who were like the most talented, so to speak. It was just always the people who like took on like the most responsibility and like naturally just, you know, always wanted to do more. As I can tell, like us as athletes, that's how we all were, just trying to do more. And like as men, it's reflected.
Man, I love everything you're talking about right now, Trotter. What do you think is the number one thing you learned? Not learned. What's the number one thing from your childhood that helps you today?
Yeah, so I would say the number one thing that I learned as a child is probably just, you know, figuring things out when the answer isn't there, right? So my cousin, she was a huge at Google, and she was the only person on their legal team that didn't go to law school, right? And she was Black. And she was like, the reason why they have me is because when the answer is not there in the book, I know how to find a solution, where most people can only find it if it's in the book. And so for me, I think that like seeing my mom like hustle, right, for everything, that type of mentality is probably what has helped me the most. Another thing is like, I'm kind of fearless in a sense of like, you can't intimidate a person of going back to having nothing where nothing has built a foundation. Like I've had nothing the majority of my life. I've had money a very short portion, right? So like I'm actually more comfortable being broke than it is having money. So when it comes time to like take a pay cut like I had to do to start my business, and everybody was like, I wouldn't do that. Like I did that shit because I'm used to it. You know what I'm saying? When it came chance like rolling a gamble or like hiring people and taking these chances or moving to a place, like I live in Austin, Texas right now. I don't know nobody. But like, I'm willing to sacrifice anything to help me get closer to my goals. And like, most people won't do that.
Try. I got two more questions for you before we switch over to the football side. First one, real quick. You kind of touched on it earlier. How's your work going with Beam? One of my bosses, my head coach at Laney, Coach Beam. What does he do for you guys over at USINTECH?
Man, so first and foremost, like Beam's a blessing, right? So I got a lot of connections to Laney, like through my family and just through friends and stuff. So I got a lot of respect for Laney College. One of my cousins played at Laney College, Sean Bailey, was a safety at Laney College. Also, Chris Moncrief, my cousin, went to El Cerrito High, went to Laney, then went to Cal. Donnell, also a cousin of mine as well. So
Jenkins?
Yeah.
I play with Darnell, cold tight end. That boy can play his ass off. That's my boy right there.
Big Red, right? And also, Kam and, also Jeremy, Frank Summers. So, like, I've always had a lot of respect for the program, like, way beyond, the whole Netflix series. But the reason why I brought Coach Beam on board as an advisor of USINTECH is we got to meet our people where we are, right? And Coach Beam does a lot for football, but he also tries to do a lot for the community, which like I'm connected to, right? Like the work that we did together, D-Lane. Mm-hmm. And so by leveraging like his presence, his platform that we're on, we can connect with people at any university, all athletic programs. And we can go to these collegiate programs and tell them like, hey, you need to put something in place, focus on helping your athletes post their career, right, as playing for you, right? Now we got credibility to do that. We got credibility to go talk to the NFL PA, right? Like Beam's leading a lot of those conversations. And then also just being in the streets and getting people who generally wouldn't think about doing sales, like interested in an idea. Those are all some of the things that like Beam has been like helping with. He's also like helping a lot, like in our fundraising efforts. He is committed. So like, quick story, we're doing a marketing video for Coach Beam. So I had my marketing lady, I had her reach out to Coach Beam. I said, reach out to him, ask him to make this video. Hopefully we can post it by end of day. She's like, I don't think that's going to happen. Like, it's going to take hours for him to get this back, probably a couple days. She sends it to him. She talks to him on the phone, hangs up the phone. Coach Beam literally had it done in 30 seconds, right?
I'm surprised.
So, like,
Beam ass don't know how to work. No technology.
Yeah. So
at the field house,
Yeah.
he's terrible.
Yeah. So he's like, I told her, let's make it easy for him to help us. Give him specific direction. Right?
Yeah.
So when she got it back, she's like, oh my gosh, she did it right away. I called Beam. I was like, yeah, like she was surprised. He's like, shit, if I didn't do it right now, I was probably never going to do it. But, like, having somebody like that in the community, you know what I mean? Connected to people at all different levels. Like, being on our team has been like, it's been crazy. And Beam is like all in, like, Beam's committed, brother. So,
Man, I think I tell kids a lot all the time when I recruit them, man. Like, if I'm being honest, maybe even on the D1 level, but I tell them below D1 on down, high school, every level you can think of, I don't think there's nobody more connected than him on the West Coast. On the West Coast in football specifically, and he has this foot in the community, in our community, like you said. Man, he's truly an asset and a great figure in our community.
Yeah, he runs way deeper in the community than what I assume.
Yeah.
And Beam's one of those guys too. Like, he gets respect from the gangsters, and he gets respect from quote unquote the squares at all levels, and he's always who he is. And you know, I really appreciate that. So it's been a huge asset so far.
Before we transition to the football stuff, there's just one last thing I would actually like to say, not even ask. I want to just tell both you guys, continue showing love like y'all been doing, man, as far as like just promoting, reposting each other's stuff and all that. I see that a lot, and I think that's big, man, because you hit it on the head earlier, Kendrick, when we was talking about representation. It's like, why do we celebrate the rappers and the drug dealers more than we celebrate the tech guy, the doctors, the lawyers, whatever the case may be? Well, we need more of things like we do, repost, put it out there, put the information out there so people can see it, so it can recycle, you know? We got to start celebrating other figures besides just the rappers and drug dealers, man. So I definitely want to tip my hat again to both you guys and your company. I see that a lot. You guys are always promoting the company, always promoting each other. I love that.
Yeah, but that's the lesson from the streets, you know what I'm saying? Because what life has taught us is that life is so precious. And so people get taken and just things happen all the time. You know what I mean? And like, for us and USINTECH, like, they don't pay anything to be a part of our program. But like, my thing is, like, I don't get mad about very many things. But like, the worst thing we can do is not support each other, right? Like, just imagine if all the black people, if all the gangs, if all the underrepresented people came together, how much further we would go. So like, I'm trying to normalize that more and more and more of like, it'd be so easy for us to hate on each other. But like, I try to tell Zay, like, I love you, brother. I'm proud of you, right? And like, I see Jamal doing his stuff. It's just isn't tech related. He's a personal trainer, right? And D-Lane, if there's any way I can support you, and I got, you know, buddies that like make music and stuff too, that like, I just want to spread love, because sometimes that's all a person really need. And it's free to do that. You know what I'm saying? So like, we got to make it more seen as a cool thing to show love than to hate on people, because people are like, man, you always shouting out Trot. You always talking about Zay. Like, nah, like, we got to make that a negative thing. Like, it sounds like you hate. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're really proud of yourself, regardless of what the people around you are doing, you always going to try to help push them forward. So like, my goal in life is like, I always want to try to help people that I can help, right? It can't always be like financially, but sometimes it's just a conversation, or, you know, just encouragement. So I appreciate that, Lane. And that's something I'm grateful for. And like, again, I want to continue to try to prioritize that in my life.
No, definitely. I appreciate that, Lane. And my goal, I feel like when we're all, you know, old men, we're going to see a lot of our people in tech. Because like you said, you started a conversation off, my grandpa played football. Well, someone's grandpa worked in tech and built this life. And so the same thing is going to happen. And yeah, I think this is just the start. I'm keep on saying, you don't need to ball to ball. Half of us in tech, I mean, we probably have 20 people in here that play Division I ball. So you can still go D1, and that you play Division I football, 1% of people do that. Now go people part of the 1% in tech. You can still be part of the 1% in tech. So it's I mean,
It's less taxing on the body.
Yeah, you can
it's
tell,
less taxing on the body over the career time.
Man, I mean, we got dudes like all Pac-12 and stuff that work in tech, like doing well. So it's like you got, I don't, you know, people. You got. It's
you know what I realized, man, when I think about sports. As a kid, I was passionate about sports because I love sports. But more importantly, I love the idea of taking care of my mom and like having a big house and traveling and like getting nice shit. Like that's more of what I was in love with, was the idea of having these experiences. So I only thought I could accomplish that through sports or entertainment or like being in the streets, because that was all I seen. Right. So really what I was chasing more so was like that lifestyle and that experience. And for me, if I couldn't get a scholarship for football, like I wasn't going to go to college, because respectfully, my mom wasn't in a position to send me to college. So a lot of what I did to play sports, it really was because I wanted to go to college and I wanted to get nice things. But if I would have known, like my kids, when I have kids, like maybe they'll play sports, maybe they won't. But they won't have the pressure of like sports is your only way to a degree. You know what I mean? So like that's something I realized too when I talked to a lot of former athletes. Like, did you do it for so long because you loved it? Or did you do it because like you were in love with the idea of like providing, having a lifestyle and like, you know, taking care of people? And that's kind of still my passion now.
I got you. We let's transition a little bit into your football career, man. You touched on your many stops of your childhood so far, you know, growing up in Oakland, Vallejo, Richmond, and so forth. Let's talk a little bit about your high school career. Where'd you go to high school? How was your high school career?
No. Time out. He's trying. East Bay people always do. Let's start off where you started football, Kendrick. Thank you. Then we'll go into your high school
nobody
career.
Worry about them damn Crusaders. Skip that.
Hey, you see I'm rocking that gold, baby.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
I got the throwback in the box somewhere. I'll grab it.
Yeah. You know, I'll go through that part pretty quick. So as a kid, I think I played football like in third grade. It was my first year, third or fourth grade. And that's when we moved to Vallejo. So when we moved to Vallejo, I was playing football in Napa. So my team was mostly all white. We was good though, right? And I played my baseball in Vallejo. So we was all black, right? Won the Little League World Series for like 9 and 10. Was playing with like J.R. Davis, my boy like Jet Johnson, who's on like Cleveland Indians, right? We played with a lot of ball players. And then like basketball, I was playing like back and forth. But when I got to middle school, 7th grade is when I moved to Oakland, was going to Montero for a bit. And was playing with the Crusaders. Like I said, it's probably one of the most stressful times of my life. And my mom's the type of mom, like, she don't really know much about sports. She just knows I play. Like, if somebody asks, like, is your son good? Like, she probably be like, I don't know. Like, yeah, probably. You know, but she ain't know. Yeah. She didn't know how good I was until she came to my USC game. And then she was like, oh, my God. Like, this is the level you play against. But when I got into 7th grade, and I was going through that time at the Crusaders, when you do hitting drills, your family comes onto the field. And it's like a dog fight, right? Like everybody comes into a circle. They get their lawn chairs. Grown-ups is talking shit. And my mom was like, I don't like this, right? Like this ain't, you know, my baby in this. And like, shit, you know, I had my helmet on and I stepped up, right? And that was the first time that like, I think she really like gained a lot of respect for me. It was like, damn, like, even though he doesn't carry himself like this, like he still can handle his own. So played with the Crusaders, and then 8th grade year, went to Stockton, played out there with the Rams. That was cool. And then when I got into high school, I always played with kids my age. So my last year of Pop Warner football, I played Pee-wees, right? I went from Pee-wees to freshman football. No, brother. Chill out. No, high school I played 9th grade.
Oh, okay, I thought he said he went from Pee Wee to high school. You went.
Yeah, I did.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said high school. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
So my 8th grade year,
I played Pee Wee, junior, midget, and then high school.
I was so small. I played with the kids my age, which was mostly a grade under me or 2 grades under me. So when I played, I was always like linebacker and like, linebacker and running back, even when I played with the Crusaders. So when I got to high school, it was like, you got to play corner and receiver. I didn't know how to run routes. I didn't know
high
how
school
to
you went to, Trot?
Huh? So in Stockton, I went to high school at Lincoln High School.
Okay.
Real good football school.
Yeah,
like Brandon Cooks, my dog. A lot of other people came out of there as well. But
they had a running back that came out of there.
Yeah, Davis. Justin Davis, yeah.
He was nice too.
Yeah. I didn't get to play with him. He played a year after me, but yeah, when I made that transition, I didn't get no playing time, bro. Like I was a captain of the team. Like I didn't really play much because like I was so small.
How you a captain of the team? You don't play much. That don't make sense.
Hey man, I was tough, bro.
I ain't never heard of that one. heard that one. I heard good locker room guys, like when you the good locker room guy, you ain't hella talented, but like you can make him the captain.
Hey,
but you gotta play.
He was like Matthew Slater on the Patriots.
Okay. I was our starting slot, but we never went like, you feel me?
Never went down.
Yeah, never went, so, we won't be that for another day. But then I went to Patterson High School where I grew a little bit. The football was a little smaller, and I got to play with a lot of East Bay dudes like Pio Vatuve. I got to play with Rodney Lawson. I got to play with a lot of dudes. We built a really good culture there, a really good team. First year, my junior year, we lost like 1 or 2 games, third round of playoffs, like in sections or the game before sections, we lost to Del Oro. And then my senior year.
Del Oro be boys. They from SAC, right? Yeah, Del Oro usually boys.
They don't play no games. So it's
white boys. Is they white boys? They got some brothers on their team.
Yeah. No. It was no color, brother. No color. Yes. It was like
like that.
Yes, they did.
It was a football. It was like what's that movie? That football movie, the juvenile movie. They all playing football with The Rock.
The Rock. I know you talking about Gridiron Gang.
Hey, them boys was chahooing and hitting shit. So what happened is we were like the #1 seed in Division III playoffs. They were supposed to be in Division I, but they lost like 4 or 5 games in the regular season. But they lost like De La Salle, Elk Grove, Granite Bay, right? So they got pushed to our bracket for whatever reason. They blew that thing, man. They blew it.
They should just came out of the playoffs, man.
Yeah, that was suspect. So senior year, like was just emailing teams, trying to get my own offers. To all the players out there playing with Coach Lane and just in general, don't depend on coaches to send out your film. Send your own film out. Coaches are there to take calls, right? To add additional value, but like, be proactive. And like, I pretty much was sending my shit out and came like one of the top Division II recruits and got an offer to Humboldt State, which was the top ranked Division II at the time. Went there for 2 seasons and I just wanted to say I wanted to go bigger, right? I wasn't just better.
What 2 years? What 2 years were you there? Try
12 through 14.
Okay, never mind. He graduated in 14. I was gonna see if you knew my boy Marjani. Never mind.
Yeah, nah. Okay. But yeah, I went there for 2 seasons. Redshirted 1, and the second year I mostly just played like special teams. And like I just wanted to say I went bigger, bro. Mm-hmm. And my coach told me. He pulled me in the locker room, and he was like, I don't know why you're leaving. This is the best you're going to get. Like, you're an NAIA athlete at best, right?
Out of pocket.
He is out of pocket. He is out of pocket, right? I was definitely like one of the better freshmen there for sure. Mm-hmm. And one of my homies from Compton was like, man, don't trip off that. Like, just chase your dream. And so I bounced back to JUCO, went to Delta. That was an experience within itself. Was taking like 20 units a semester. Joined a team that was just rebuilding. It was a bad situation for the team personally, but like I learned a lot.
Why'd you choose Delta? Did you not do like a little tour? Did you not check any other junior colleges out? What made you land on Delta?
Yeah, so I wanted to go to CSM, right? I wanted to go to CSM, Laney, or Contra Costa. I wanted to go to Laney because that's where my cousin Chris Moncrief went. I wanted to go to CSM because that's where Fogel was. And I wanted to go to Contra Costa because, like, Contra Costa was doing good at the time.
Gotcha.
And my mom, it was the first time in my life my family didn't support my decision. And my brother is my best friend, like my father figure. He was like, you're betting on yourself. He was like, if you come back to junior college and you spend $5, that's $5 more than you spent at your university, right? And my mom was like, you're on your own. Like, I'm not helping you, right? Like, you throwing away a scholarship to bounce back, like, that's on you.
Yeah.
And when I told her I wanted to go to Laney, CSM, or Contra Costa, she was like, I feel so disappointed because my whole life as a mom, I did everything I could to get you out of that area. Like the last 20 years, everything I did was so you wouldn't be in that area. And then the first thing you're deciding to do is to go back to that area. Right? So I was like, damn. So then I was like, okay, what's most convenient then? Right? Like I gotta live at home, and I was gonna go to Modesto or Delta.
That's so solid.
Modesto good.
Yeah.
They're good, right? That caused a lot of beef too, because like they really wanted me to go there, but they won. They just didn't give people scholarships. And I was on a mission. I was like, at Delta, win or lose, every person who went there that was a D1 player got D1.
Gotcha.
So I was like, that's where I'm putting my marbles. And like, God willing, like came back to Delta, was locked in, was focused, was grinding, 2 or 3 days, doing my time. And the practice before our first game at Santa Rosa, I got a bad concussion, right? Like just dipped my head and took a knee to the helmet in practice. And like the concussion, like it messed me up really for a while, if I'm being truthful. So like obviously I couldn't play those like first week.
Quick question for both of y'all, since y'all play football, only had two. Excuse me. How many career concussions y'all had? Diagnosed, because we know we didn't have a bunch that we was like, nah.
Diagnosed, I had 2. My
Me too,
my
too.
last game at Mac, you already know that, the blind side hit. And then crazy, my last college practice, it was a knee, 6 stitches my lip.
I mean, you had tried.
I had 2, but I'm gonna say 3 because
I think I had 3 too. But I know too.
yeah, I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna say 3, man. But my one I got in JUCO, that low key like it messed me up in the sense of like my balance was off, right?
That's a real bruise.
Yeah, so it was kind of messed me up. Was on a team where like my linebackers and D linemen was the same size as me. So we're literally blitzing 9 people, and it's like, the 3 DBs play your thirds. It's like Madden, engage 8, right? So like I got the film I could get, mostly on some like toughness stuff, playing hard. Again, like got along with mostly everybody on the team. Got the scholarship offer to Idaho, which is my only D1 offer I had. I was talking like Texas State and like Fresno and like a couple others, but I couldn't secure the film to get the offers.
Gotcha.
And when I got the offer to Idaho, I told my coach, I was like, I'm not going to take it. He was like, why? I was like, it's probably racist there. And he was like, you sound stupid. He was like, Idaho is 5 minutes from Washington State. And once I heard that, like, that was all I needed to hear. So
yeah, I didn't know it was that close.
Yeah.
You okay, that's crazy. What so did you only play corner at both JUCO and at Idaho?
So in JUCO, I was actually, believe it or not, I was supposed to play both ways. But I played corner and like nickel. And then when I got to Idaho, I was corner and nickel as well. Tried to move me to safety, but wasn't really mine.
Which one you prefer? Because my favorite position is nickel.
I like nickel too. Like, because like playing with the Crusaders and like naturally just always being in the box, like I like that shit. Like it's a lot simpler, you know what I'm saying? So I liked it.
Hey, look, when you was at Idaho, were you there at the same time Andre was at Washington State?
Yeah.
That's ironic.
I was. Yeah. So I called myself a Washington State vandal. So 6 days a week, I was on Washington State campus. I mean, getting my hair cut, getting food, kicking it, right? Like damn near in classes. Game day, I was with Idaho.
Do they even play? Do they ever play each other or nah? They never played.
Yeah, we played my senior year. So when I got recruited, Idaho was winning like 1 game a year, right? The coach came to my house. He was like, Coach Petrino, he was like, I promise you 2 things. We're going to win a bowl game, and like Elijah Penny going to go to the NFL as a running back. I'm like, both sound like bullshit, but you know, whatever. I get to Idaho, hardest experiences of my life. I mean, like hard work, right? Like 3 hours every day, hard work. And a lot of people cut themselves, right? Like we doing hitting drills every day, you know what I'm saying? But it was like it wasn't made for the weak. So my first year, we won 4 games, but we lost 2 games. We were up by 21 points. So it was like, oh shit, like coach ain't tripping. Like we could have went to a bowl game. Like blood telling the truth, right? Like that was crazy to us because we were expecting to lose, right? That second year we came back, it was a lot less complaining about the work and more like, man, we gonna prove coach wrong. So coach was like, we got 16 110s. We like, fuck that. Let's do 18, right? Yeah. When coach is like, coach said something, he was like, I never been around so many grown men that always want to go home. I'm like, damn, like he was right. We was always trying to finesse to go home. But like, we supposed to be the toughest people in the world, always trying to go home. Like that's contradicting. You ain't really about it then. Yeah. So that last year, like I was a captain. We went 9-4, right? We lost 4 games, all 4 to top 25 ranked teams. We lost to UW. We lost to Washington State. We lost to Appalachian State, and we lost to Troy that year. But like, it was one of the best times of my life because I was a part of building something. Where a lot of people want to go D1 because they want it to be easy, but like that shit was the complete opposite. But what it taught me as a man is like, I don't gotta agree with everything the head coach is saying, right? But if I can do my part, if the whole team buys in versus competing with the coach, we go a lot further. And like, it was dope, bro. Like we went to play Colorado State in a bowl game and, you know, you do the bowl game activities and we went to go bowling. And I remember they were getting interviewed and they was laughing. It was like, man, these dudes look like a Pop Warner team. Because we did, right? Like we was small, but like we didn't even care because we was so tough, like real tough, like not fake the funk tough, like real tough. And we played in the Sun Belt. So like everybody was bigger than us. You know what I'm saying? So when we played that game, when they said that, we wasn't even tripping. It was supposed to like blow us out. Man, we whooped that. We put it on them, man. We ended up beating them like 60 to I think like 30. They scored like 3 touchdowns in the last 7 minutes. That was suspect, but you know what I'm saying? It was a real good experience.
So I wonder if that's the answer to my question. Craziest college game you played in?
My funnest game, I'm a little selfish, was Wazoo.
Okay.
The reason why is because our D coordinator was from Wazoo. So when we played Wazoo, he was like, I'm going to tell you one thing they're not going to do. They're not going to pass the ball. So we like, you telling us the number 1 team in the world ain't going to pass the ball. He was like, nope. He was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have 3 D linemen, 1 middle linebacker, and everybody else is going to be DBs, right? So Trot was in there at backer, right? And it was real Pop Warner. Like, I mean, like, the linemen were scraping, so, like, I was filling the gaps. The middle linebacker would take on the lead, and, like, I was filling, and it was, I mean, like, you know, you coming back, fixing your helmet, and it was
been in that linebacker spot. Yeah, get real in that box.
Yeah, so I love that game, man. And then we had a little beef with them the summer before where, like, you know, it was just a little beef. So, like, we was talking mess. So I'll say personally that was probably my funnest game because that shit took me back to, like, Crusaders and, like, you know, just banging, having that chip on your shoulder. And we actually did really good the first half of the game. Like, we were supposed to score first. They had a player who was suspended on the team, blocked a kick. Marcellus ran it back for 7. Then we stopped them again. We went for it on 4th down twice on our short field. So then they got like 2 more field goals. They had like 1 earned touchdown in the first half. And then in the second half, we had to go to our base defense. And then they started going crazy. But that was my funnest game for sure.
Hey, that sounds lit. I know that it's Wazoo, so the stands was crazy.
All right, I got these last two for you, Trot. They mainly one we ask basically both of them we ask all DBs. All DBs that come on the pod, we ask them these two questions. And one is new. That's what it is. One is a newer question. One we ask everybody. First one is, give us your all-time secondary. 2 corners, a nickel, and 2 safeties.
Jeez. I like Ramsey, right?
Ramsey at one corner.
I like Ramsey, not just because he's rated hella high. I like him because that chip on his shoulder. Okay. And he gets respect from his teammates. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell he's the type of dude that if it's funk, he's the front of the line, right? He's like, hey, don't trip. Like, I got y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm with it, right? And behind closed doors, I might correct y'all. But when we out there in front of everybody else, like, I'm a front liner. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to sacrifice my body. Like, he be trying to hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
he want to come rare corners that come up and tackle.
Yeah, so I like that.
So Ramsey at one corner. Who at the other corner?
I love Tyrann, man.
Tyrann?
At my nickel.
Okay,
right?
okay, nickel. That's my guy.
I don't know if you know Hashim Boyd, but he played for City. Hashim from Vallejo Fairfield.
Okay.
I love Tyrann. I like the creativity he's able to bring and the energy. So I'm gonna have him at nickel. And then my other corner on the other side. Let's see. Damn, that's hard.
Reeves, Champ, Gilmore.
I like Woodson.
Cromartie. Woodson. Okay, right? Woodson.
I'm thinking Woodson, like old school lockdown coverage corner.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you throw Woodson somewhere, like he can play the nickel too.
He can play anywhere.
Like, yeah.
Best DB all time to me. He the best all around.
Yeah,
DB.
long body. He gonna shut it down. Like, you're not gonna have to worry about his dude. Is he gonna tackle? Maybe, maybe not. But like, you ain't got to worry about that.
2
safeties. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with Kam Chancellor.
Okay, that's the first. I think that's the first one on Kam.
He like the hitters.
Yeah, he like trying to hit
some enforcement, right? I need
every GB right now. He got on the field is aggressive. Yeah. Every single one.
Yeah, they don't all got to be aggressive, right? But I need somebody that, like, when a receiver feeling happy, they low key looking around. So I like Kam. And then for my last, like, coverage safety, I don't know what suggestions y'all got for coverage safety.
Ed, the best.
Earl.
Yeah. Who else we got? Troy Polamalu. Ronnie Lott is a fan favorite. We usually get.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor's another one.
See, I don't know if Sean and Chancellor would be the best combo.
Every knocking it out. Every knocking. But Sean can run. Sean can cover, so he can play free.
Yeah, I'm going Sean.
Every knocking shit out though.
I'm going to Sean, and we running.
It be dead bodies on the all across the middle.
Yeah, we running CSM Bulldog defense, cover one,
hey,
safety.
Chill out, man. Chill out all that. Chill out all that CSM shit on here.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. We having this one safety 25 yards back, and we saying just throw the fade ball and good luck catching it because we just gonna hit your ass.
It's gonna be bodies.
So
I got you.
We just bodies.
All right, we got these last two, and the last one I'm gonna let Zay ask. That's the question we ask everybody about the who next. But this is kind of new, and it's a quick hitter one. All right, so I want you to build your all-time, We want you to build a fantasy DB. All right, I'm gonna give you a few traits, and you gotta pick. You gotta pick an NFL player, pick a guy, pick a player to pull this trait from. Okay. So the first trait is speed. And it's your all-time preference DB that you're building right here.
I'm going Deion.
Deion for speed. Cover skills. That's easy. Him or Daryl Green.
Oh, I'm going Deion again.
Cover skills, okay. Yeah. Zone skills.
I'm going Marcus Peters.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I like my town, man.
Yeah, him or something.
Backhouse.
Okay. Awareness / ball skills.
Ooh. I'm going Ed Reed or Sean Taylor. I'll probably go Ed Reed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tackling.
Sean Taylor.
I was just going to say Sean for that one. He jumped that down here. All right, last one right here. Range.
Range?
Can cover the whole back end. Sideline.
Damn. Champ Bailey.
Hey, that's probably the favorite one. I think that you put together. Everyone put. As far as I like that one. That's my favorite.
Anybody else said Champ Bailey?
No, like Champ one of my guys.
Yeah, that's one of his favorite guys.
But no, I like how you put that list together. Yeah. No, people would do all over the place, but I like how you did that. Yeah. You pretty much all you did was say, "Give me Ed, Deion, Sean Taylor, Champ."
That was cool. That's crazy. On TV.
Yeah, Deion might have to get kicked out at my corner position for Woodson.
No, you put Woodson in. You put Woodson in at your corner.
Yeah, I might have to kick Woodson put Deion over Woodson.
Oh, okay. And, you might have to take my boy Badger out there and put Deion at, Seawood at nickel.
I'll take Seawood over.
Do that. Yeah, so I don't know. You get creative.
Hey, Charlie, I didn't say Deion.
Yeah, he got to thinking about that after I forgot about Deion.
Probably. Yeah. But yeah, hey, appreciate you coming on. Trot. This is the last question we ask all our guests this. I really lost my voice. It's crazy. Now that you on the pod, is there anybody you throw a lob to for the next person on the guest, and who would it be?
You already interviewed Chris?
Chris who?
From Alabama?
Oh, yeah. Chris Rogers? Yeah.
Yeah, we already got Chris.
Hey, Chris, we're at 2 hours.
Yeah. Chris.
We got to get Chris on again.
Yeah. Chris and Trot.
He was kicking game. Yeah, he was kicking. Yeah, we should have both of y'all on together. That'd be a good one. He was kicking game ballers on Alabama stories, though.
Chris is authentic, bro. He's a real dude. Let's see. For the pod, I might talk about, like, maybe Willow side, right? It's still a little tech connection there. But somebody who had the experience of, like, walk on to a college, starter at a college.
I feel like calling him right now. On the way back, I said, Will, when are you going to pod? I didn't do nothing. This man played a year for the Colts. He has a great story.
Oh, that's what he was talking about?
Yes.
I didn't know he was a walk-on. That's a great story.
So I've been telling D-Lane.
That's what you've been talking about. Oh, Will, okay, the dark skin case. Yeah, you've been talking about.
You just got to position the prop in a way that makes him feel comfortable, which is like, hey, Will, like, would love for you to come on as inspiration to other people.
Is he out?
Like, who might be like walk-on athletes, or people who are even thinking about, like, who have had season-ending injuries. Chad Miller, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would love for Chad to talk about, like, his story of, like, reality. You feel me? Where, like, a lot of times we always focus on all the positives, but let's talk about reality. Because if we could talk about some things proactively, maybe there's some other situations we can prevent. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all think we're invincible. And maybe sometimes a conversation with somebody who has certain experiences can humble us, and we can learn from those experiences. So my votes, I'm biased. I'm keeping it USINTECH, but I'm saying Will Osai.
Give him a nudge for me.
Chad Miller.
That's cool. Me and Chad, same class. That's my bro. I played against Chad, so I can hit Chad. He can hit Will, and then you put pressure on both of them for us to get them on.
All good.
All right. I'll come appreciate you, fam, man. Hey, this is major. Special talk. We needed this. Our people needed this. I definitely appreciate you, brother. Stay safe, man.
And before you end, what are your socials, Kendrick? Shout your socials out.
Yeah.
Socials is Instagram, Trot Dog, TROTTDAWG. The business page is at USINTECH. You looking for opportunity to make 6 figures by year 2? Tap in with us. As long as you got the skills of strong communication, coachability, drive, integrity, intelligence, let's work.
Yes, sir. We out.
We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the Huddle 5-1-0 with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.